Max Verstappen. He won one of the most exciting championship battles this century in 2021, dominated the 2022 season with 15 race wins over the calendar season, and now is 99 points clear on top of the 2023 season with 255 points, practically sealing his third championship already. So, the real question is, why are people having a real hard time saying he is one of the greats? So I'm going to split this video up into 3 parts. The first part is going to be about stats, second part about time in sport, and then the third part about how no one likes when people are winning. So we'll start off with the stats. And as you can see, Verstappen was the youngest driver ever to participate in F1 at 17 years old and 166 days. He is 8th in the consecutive race starts with 173 to his name. He is also 5th in most wins with 43 race wins. Now you have to take that with a pinch of salt, as yes, some of the older drivers on this list had less races in their calendar season. So even still, if you take into account, let's say, the 1992 season, which had 16 races in, and the 1979 season, which had 16 races in. Let's take 16 races as an average for all of the older drivers on this list and get the percentage of how many races Max Verstappen would normally race, which is around 23 to 22. So 72.7% of 43 race wins would be 31.3 wins, which basically is 31 wins, which would put him joint with Nigel Mansell, who is also a great driver. So on race wins, he is doing well enough to be known as one of the greats. So then let's get on to the next stat, which is most wins in a season. And in 2022, like I said, he won 15 race wins, which actually is the record. Now again, I'm going to go off percentages, and if you convert it into percentages of races won during the season, that comes out to 68.1%, which still is the third best ever season a driver's had, behind Schumacher and Vettel. So again, he's had one of the greatest seasons. He's won 2 championships. He's almost won a 3rd championship. Things are looking very good for him. And then I think the final stat to have a look at is obviously where he stands in the leading championship. And at the minute, he's joint 11th. But as you know, he will be winning this 3rd championship. So this puts him in with the likes of the names such as Hakkinen, Jim Clark, Senna, Lauda, Ascari, Alonso, and more. All have 2 or 3 championships between them, and all of them are thought as great drivers. So for people to say Verstappen can't even be considered in this list, what else is there to look out for? He's done the championships, he's done the race wins, he's matured into a great driver. What else does he need to do? And that brings on to the second part, which is probably what he needs to do. And you need to take into consideration his time in the sport. So, of course, another point is that Verstappen hasn't been in F1 for long enough to be known as one of the greatest of all time. And now, I really think people get confused about his age, because yes, he's still young. And Verstappen's had 9 seasons in F1. That is an insane amount of seasons. Like, compare that to Alonso, who at the same time, they've both been in 9 seasons, both 2 championships. Alonso, by 2009/2010, had been in 9 seasons, and he was known as one of the greatest drivers on the grid, potentially one of the greatest drivers that was in F1. And another example to show the other way is by Hamilton's 9th season. He was known as a good driver, but by no means one of the best drivers of all time, because he had won the 2008 championship, just won the 2014 championship. So it really depends on how you view the driver at the time. But for me, I think it's right. A lot of if you are the greatest of all time comes down to after you've retired, not while you're in the sport. Like even Hamilton, yes, he's the greatest of all time with Schumacher, but only because he's won 7 world championships. Now, if he had won 3 or 4, you'd still be able to say he's a great driver, but you would still say he wasn't as good as like the likes of Prost, Senna, Fangio. But I really think it does all come down to a lot of how much time they've spent in the sport and if they're retired or not. Because for me, at the minute, Verstappen is on track to become one of the greatest of all time. So, let's say in a scenario, give Verstappen 5 years, he's won 1 more world championship, that's minimum, he could win way more than that, and competes highly in all 5 of those seasons. I don't see why he would not be revered as like a GOAT. because he has done plenty by then. It would have been his 13th, 14th season in F1. What else does he need to do? And he'd probably be closer to retiring. So then let's move on to the third part, which is no one likes a winner until they stop winning, basically. This happens every time you get consecutive person winning the same season. Obviously, you've got Verstappen now because he's winning every single race. He's winning every single championship. Go back a few years, it was Hamilton. No one liked Hamilton because he was winning every championship, every race. And then go back further, you had Vettel. No one liked because he was winning every single race and every single championship. And also, you've got to remember, after they stopped winning a lot, people actually much prefer them. It's not actually they didn't like them as a person. They just didn't like them winning. Same goes for Schumacher. Same goes for any other driver that was winning just constantly and then stopped winning. After they stop winning lots or retire, then that's when people respect them. And it is a shame at the same time, because what Verstappen's done even this season is incredible. He's won 6 wins in a row, which is insane. But that also means that people are going to be salty because it's the same person winning over and over again. So of course people just want someone else to win other than Red Bull or Verstappen. But you have to respect it, because Red Bull have put so much work into that car and Verstappen hasn't put a foot wrong. Like we're seeing with Perez, you can still do bad in that Red Bull. You can qualify bad. You can just not have as much race pace. So for Verstappen to do all of what he's doing at the minute is amazing. Like, yes, it may be a bit boring. At least F1.5 is good. But you have to respect what he's doing. And I feel like not enough people are respecting just how well he is doing this season. And it is so underrated. It sounds weird to say that a championship leader with 99 points to second place, which is Sergio Perez, is underrated. And he is, because no one wants him to win. No one, unless you're Dutch or a Red Bull fan, no one wants him, which is fair enough. Even I don't want him to win a race because I'm getting bored. But that's why he's so good. If he's doing this to people, that's how good he is at the sport. But to end this video off, for me, if he was to retire at the end of this season, I believe he would go down as one of the greatest of all time. With 3 world championships, not a lot of people have done that, and he would definitely be in the top 10 at least best drivers of all time in F1. So, what do you guys think? Comment down below what you think about Max Verstappen. Should he be in the contention for one of the greatest drivers of all time? Do you think it is deserved that people don't respect him as much as they should? Or do you think, like me, he maybe should get a bit more respect for what he's done in this sport, because it's outrageous what he's done? So comment all of that down below, and I'll see you Monday for another F1 Fantasy video.